Awesome, 6 o'clock. I'm Megs, welcome to the Inn. It's really sweet as always to be here with you guys. On our mats tonight, I wanted to really bring it back to something so simple, which is gratitude. Just gratitude and appreciation for what we do have rather than what we do not. There's that old saying out there that goes along the lines of, if we are always searching, we'll always be looking. When we can have an energy of gratitude, because it's an energy, it's one of the highest energies we can have, or a vibration, then when we focus on that, we are telling the universe that we want more of the same back to us. If we are focusing from a sense of lack, or focusing on the I wish I had, or I really want this, then that's coming from a point of lack and undeserving. And we will also be supported in that. I spent many years in that sense of lack, in the I wishes and I wants, and when I get here, I'll be happy then. And it got me nowhere. So when I started to appreciate how things were in this moment, things started to change. And I was very blessed last week to speak to two beautiful humans. On Monday was Louise Wilkinson from the Lipstick Lunch, so she usually interviews me on Mindful Mondays, but I actually interviewed her because she had a brain aneurysm 5 years ago. And we really spoke on what it's like to live here in this moment. And it really is. We just have today. This is it, right now. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So when we go through big things like that, we really get it put in perspective. And also on Friday, I spoke with a dear friend of mine, Moni Mudge. I met her when I went to the South Coast bushfires. And just beautiful, beautiful woman to remind me, which I really needed on Friday, because I was right in the grips of anxiety, to come back to this gentleness and acceptance of what's here in this moment without trying to change it or fix it. It takes too much effort to try to run away from it, or to numb, or to need it to be different. That just takes way too much effort. So it really is about, let's just appreciate what's here today without the need for more, and without worrying what it's going to be like tomorrow or next week or in 6 months. That's irrelevant. Things are always changing and flowing, so let's appreciate now. So we are going to start in a seated position as always, and we're just going to take some mindfulness and some gratitude. So I'm going to sit on a bolster. You can do whatever you like, your practice, not mine. So you just find somewhere where you're comfortable. You might want to roll your neck, you might want to, open up that heart space, you might just want to be still. I'll leave that up to you. Just take a moment here, like 5 breaths, like 30 seconds or so, just to settle. Don't worry about anything too much. Just sit, be, pause. And before you focus on anything, I want you to do a little bit of self-inquiry. And I want you just to view your day that you've had today as an observer, which means that you come from no place of judgment or criticism. It's like a third party, just observing your day. Maybe your day was amazing. Lynn and I were just chatting before, it was beautiful out there today. Maybe it was easy, maybe it was challenging, maybe it was triggering. Are we able to see our day without judging it, without wishing it to be different, without going far out, I can't wait for it to be over? Because what if we didn't have tomorrow? Take a moment now just to process that. When we can think of those terms, or in those terms, what you do have moving forward is some beautiful hours ahead of you right now. Maybe spend with family or put back into yourself. To maybe do some journaling or some acts of self-care. To maybe spend time with loved ones, to smile, to laugh, to have conversations. That's all ahead of you. But if we carry on a story from our day that has happened, whatever moments happened in our day have happened, then that's up to us to choose to hang on to it. And I guarantee you that it is absolutely unimportant right now. So slowly allow this process of yin to give your body and mind the permission to let go. That's all I ask that you do in this practice tonight. I'll be sharing with you affirmations in this practice tonight. So on the Mondays, I like to share affirmations in your practice at the start of the week to help you ease into the week. And hopefully these affirmations will be remembered throughout your week whenever we're triggered or challenged or pushed, or we get knocked out of balance and we're on autopilot and reactivity rather than presence and awareness. So let's start to focus now on our breath, breathing in through the belly, the rib cage, the lungs, and exhale the lungs, the rib cage, and the belly. Continuing with that, breathe in, breathe out, continue in your own, breathing in for the count of 5 with a slight pause at the top. And exhaling for the count of 5. Feel your whole body just start to clear out any tension, rigidity, stuckness. It's like just taking off a backpack at the end of your day. Use this practice to surrender it all up, to bring yourself back home to your space, to your soul, to your heart. Take one more breath in. And a big breath out. You're going to do just some breathing now and add some arms. So breathe in, sweep the arms all the way up. Breathe out, crack open the chest. Breathe in, bring the arms up. Interlace the fingers. Breathe out, round the spine, angry cat. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, pull the heart open. Inhale, back up. And exhale, angry cat. 3 more in your own time. Two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And angry cat, exhale. Last round. And just bring it back down, maybe that rounding of the spine. Okay. So we are going to start by lying down. Now, I mentioned before at the start of the practice, if you have a tennis ball, please grab a family member or maybe your dog, I don't know, to grab something that resembles a ball. I've got a lacrosse ball here. Be really helpful if you have something like that. A tennis ball would be perfect. So grab your kids to get you one while you come into this practice today. Okay, so we are going to come straight down for a heart opener. Now, I am actually going to use blocks, but I want to show you this variation. So what we're looking for is to relax through the shoulders and literally crack open the chest. So if you would prefer, this variation is always here. Soles of the feet together, bolster supporting your back mid-back. Let the scapula spread apart. If you would like the 2-block variation, one block goes underneath the head and the other block goes where the bra strap would be. It's up to you, and depending on your body, how open you feel, how much you've been on your computer, how much stress you've been under today as to how far those shoulders are bunched up. So we want to find that space, and I'm likely to be pretty tight through this area myself. I did an acrobatics workshop on the weekend, and I'm feeling it in places I didn't even know existed. So that's really pretty good for me actually. So we want to start to find that space where the head can rest on something, and we then allow ourselves back into this first pose. Now, there's two different variations with the arms. For me, I really love to let those arms just float back, whether that's on a bolster or the floor, and just hang into this wide position. For some of you, that won't feel super great, so you can bring the arms down by the side. That's totally fine. So just finding where you need to be. You might need to shuffle around a bit. If this position here is not working for you, then come back to finding the bolster. So this is our first shape tonight, and I'm going to be pretty quiet in this pose as we spend a good solid amount of time here, just letting that heart space open and surrender. If by chance this is your first time to yin yoga, it is super important not to force it. So if you come into this position and you're like, oh my goodness, this is really painful or uncomfortable, then that's too far for you. So come back to that first position on the bolster that I showed, or bring the block down to the lowest height. Because we're here for a while, it's really, really important to find what we call our edge and pause. The body will open up over time. So I want you just to come back to your breath, to be as still as possible. And I'm going to give you an affirmation in each pose to remind us to have gratitude for what happened in our day. And so at any time you find yourself wandering into the past or into the future, I want you to come back to repeating that affirmation in your mind. So the first affirmation for this pose: I now choose to let go of my day. I now choose to let go of my day. Breathe in, breathe out. Maintain the breath, keep the affirmation. Just surrender. Use those exhales to let your body loosen and let go. We have 10 to 12 more breaths here in this pose. I choose now to let go of my day. Take 3 more long breaths here, everyone. I'll talk you out of it. Now, if you had your head back like I did, please bring your hands to the back of your skull. Engage the core and use your fingertips to lift up your head. And you'll come to a neutral position where you can then engage the SCM muscles, so the muscles in the neck. And I like to start to bend my knees and roll to one side from this position. We're all going to find our way onto our side. And just pause here. Just notice how you feel. If any of you want to roll back onto your backs, you're welcome. That can feel really nice after this pose too. Beautiful. From here, we are just going to come into a happy baby pose to just complement that. So a little bit of a hip open. We're going to lift up our knees and we're going to reach our hands up. Now you can either catch the inside of your ankles, or if it feels good for you, you can reach up and catch the underside of your feet, depending on what feels good for you. Some of you might even prefer a half happy baby. So I'm going to do a half happy baby tonight. So I'll do it from this side first. I have the left blade edge of my foot down and I'm holding onto my right. So my left knee is, my left hip is externally rotated. So we're going to be here for about 3 minutes, so it's about 1.5 minutes on each side. If this half happy baby is too intense for you, please come back to regular happy baby where both feet are held. And just breathe here. It's just a little counter pose to where we are. All I want you to do in this shape is just focus on your breath. So as you inhale, you're going to feel the expansion of the belly. And as you exhale, you'll feel the belly soften and let go. So our hips, of course, are part of our sacral chakra, the chakra that is linked into emotions, and also our self-worth. It is, of course, affective of our sexual organs as well, lower digestion, anything to do with bloating or tension, we start to lock up around this area. If you're in half happy baby, we change sides. It can also affect, of course, our digestion, big time. Things get stuck. So our sacral chakra is the water element, right? Which means that which moves, okay? So water, like the ocean, needs to flow. If we are holding on to our day and conversations that we've had with others or something that has happened in our environment, then that we are creating a blockage in our system. We are meant to move through each moment as it is in this moment. Some moments are more comfortable and pleasurable than others, and some are not. But it's up to us if we choose to hold on to it or not. You know, the Buddha says we choose what we cling to. It's so true. So a beautiful opportunity now to check in. Is there a conversation that is still pissing you off? Is there a Facebook comment that you didn't like that you're still holding a grudge about? It's really irrelevant now in this moment. Give yourself permission to let it go. Two more breaths wherever you are. Slowly we're just going to unravel and place both soles of the feet on the ground. And just a very, very simple and easy windshield wiper here with the knees, just to move any prana or chi around the body. It's a nice thing to do in yin is to do a little bit of movement, just to shift energy. So eventually you're going to come up onto your side and we're going to come up to seated, there's no rush. Our next pose is going to be our melting heart. So again, there's quite a few different options for this. I want to show you the first option on a bolster. Now, this also has an option to get into the triceps, which is quite a nice option, to be honest. Actually, we'll do that first, and then I'll give the option to go into full melting heart. So just feel free to watch this for a moment. So as I come down to melting heart, I'm actually going to bring my elbows onto the bolster, and I'm going to drop my forehead onto the bolster. Now, if you need to, you can bring your knees back further, if that feels better for you. The other option as well, if this doesn't work for you, you're actually just going to be coming into a child's pose tonight, okay? So bringing those knees wide, bolster sliding through the middle, and actually just coming down and supporting yourself into a child's pose tonight. So literally hugging that heart inwards. So those of you that are coming to a melting heart, when we move out of the transition for this one, we are then going to drop the arms in front of us and bring our chest down to the ground. Now again, you can rest your head on a bolster, but we're going to start off with the tricep stretch variation first, so we get a beautiful opening into the underside of the triceps as well. So when we stretch out this area of the fascia and connective tissue under here, we're creating space in our chest as well. So coming down for our melting heart, the tricep variation, hips stacked above knees, elbows on the bolster, and then just let your heart space sink. It should feel really, really good. And I like to just rest my forehead on the bolster. And again, it's up to you if you feel you need to prop yourself up a bit further. If you want more intensity, then you're going to slide your hips back slightly and drop the head down and through. That's going to be up to you. So we're going to be here for about another 2.5 minutes in this pose. If this is too intense, please back it off, listen to your body, and come back to a child's pose if any time you need. Your affirmation for this pose: no matter what unfolds in front of me, I choose to keep my heart open. No matter what unfolds in front of me, I choose to keep my heart open. Come back now to focusing on your breath. Let that affirmation just run through your bones, through every single cell in your body. Notice what openness feels like. Pay attention to what compassion feels like in your nervous system. Become familiar with the practice of remaining open in every opportunity that you get. Guys, we have 5 more breaths here before transitioning to the other variation. Let's take 1 more full breath in. Press through the elbows slightly. Again, you can keep the bolster there or turn it long ways if you would like to rest your head. And we now move down into our melting heart pose. Just finding your variation, support yourself with the bolster if you need. Child's pose is always there. Five more breaths only, so 1 minute there, guys, and we are done with this shape. Last breath in, and exhale. The transition is ridiculously slow. You'll walk yourself back either to an infant's or a child's pose. That is going to be your choice. Pop your spine in flexion and we pause. Take one more breath in. Stay for the exhale. Just slowly allowing yourself, I like to just come up to kneeling for a moment. And just settle the spine here for a breath or 3. So we're going to come to owl pose. So this is a internal hip rotation with a lateral flexion of the spine and an opening of the delt. I really love this pose. It's a nice way to get into the side of the heart space as well and to really open up this full side body, which we don't do a lot of, to be honest. So you're going to need your block, so make sure you grab that. We're going to place the block on the left side of your body, all right? So making sure that that yoga block is on that left side of the body. Depending on how tight you are, it's going to be up to you how high you have the block. We have the left leg in front, okay? So it's either a cross-legged position with the left leg in front, or we find shoelace pose. So shoelace pose, I like to sit up a little bit first and then sit back down. Now you can sit on a cushion too. That's a really great option for this pose. So with the left leg in front, the block to the left side, we are going to pause here in shoelace or cross-legged pose, and we place the forearm onto the block, okay? That's where you're gonna be like, oh shit, if your hips are really tight, you're gonna find that it's gonna be the hand on the block or whatever. So as soon as you start to tilt to the left, we start to get into the outer hip of the right, You're gonna feel that. So slowly lean to the left. This hand, the right, is gonna go behind and tuck into your yoga pants, okay? So that way we are opening the front of the right delt and opening all this space into the chest. So if we are on our devices a lot, which is happening so much, myself included, we're going to be shortening all these chest muscles and tricep muscles because we are overusing the front of the pecs. And what's actually happening is all those upper back muscles are getting overstretched. So in and around the subscap, infraspinatus, the rhomboids, even into the lats, there's just this overstretching that's going on, and it's not really doing us any favours. You add stress, tension, anxiety, fear, doubt, worry on top of that, and we get really hunched over, and then our trapezius and our SCM muscle, sternocleidomastoid in the neck, starts to aggravate. So we're stretching down the lateral side of the SCM muscle into the trapezius, the front of the delt, and opening up the whole right lateral side of the body, compressing through the left side. So a lot going on here, plus the internal rotation of hips. No idea why it's called owl pose, but that's just what truth calls it, so that's what we're going with. So as I said, I did my yin yoga training with a gentleman called Truth Robinson. I so recommend it. He has online training actually coming up soon. You don't have to teach yin, but it is phenomenal, the philosophy. He is a doctor of Chinese medicine, and when you learn about yin, you learn about all the meridians in the body, and the practice is based in and around traditional Chinese medicine, which is fascinating on its own. I cannot recommend Truth Robinson high enough. He's amazing. So just allowing yourself to soften down and close down your eyes. Your affirmation for this pose: I choose to surrender to what is. I choose to surrender to what is. You know, that's exactly it. It just is. Whatever today presented. The moment's gone. You experienced the moment, you had the moment. Are you still holding on to it? That's your choice. Everything should pass through us. Everything. Nothing should be resisted, and nothing should be clung to. That way, we keep our water flow open, we don't block it. That way, things don't get stuck. So just try to soften now. Again, that affirmation: I surrender to what is. Just breathe. So you guys have about at least 6 to 8 more breaths here in this pose. Take your time. Try to soften more. Last 3 breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Please engage your belly. Press through the left forearm. Super, 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 super slow. Come back to center. From here, you're going to slowly unhook this top leg, and we are going to place both feet on the ground. Now you can either stay here or push through the hands and lift up reverse tabletop. Your choice. And slowly come back down. Nice. Ooh. So right shin in front, either cross-legged position or shoelace, your choice. Lock to the right. So tuning into how those hips feel, I'm definitely feeling mine today. So find the height that suits you here, and we very just slowly lean to the right. So just really slowly explore that lateral flexion into the spine. So yeah, of course on the weekend I did the acrobatics workshop with Rod Cooper from Movement Collective, and we did lots of back bending and like cartwheels and flips and stuff and rolls and kicks and whatever. But such different muscle groups than I usually would. So muscular, I'm feeling quite tense in areas that I definitely haven't. So today I've been, bring your left hand behind, tuck it into your yoga pants. Today I've just been moving really mindfully, just aware of that, not pushing anything, just listening to the body. And it's never ever about judging it, it's never ever about getting frustrated with that. It's about actually softening and surrendering into that the best we can, and applying the concept of less is more. Hence why I'm really glad to be here teaching you tonight. It's serving my body well, and I hope it's serving yours well too. So tune in. Is your body holding on to tension? You know, is that tightness asking you to back it off a bit, or can you soften? Like, how is your jaw? How is your face? How is your belly? What's going on? Can you actually yield? Your affirmation for this pose: I am reminded that my body is my biggest teacher. I am reminded that my body is my biggest teacher. So I mentioned before, emotions store in the hips and in the shoulders. So if we are feeling bloated, tense, if we find we are shallow breathing, if we find our face is scrunched up more often than not, if we find we are short-tempered, if we find we are judgmental, critical, resentful, it's quite possible that we're holding on to something. We need to ask ourselves the question, is this worth my health? Because the more we hold on to rigidity and tension in the body, the more we shut down our autonomic nervous system and we live in fight or flight, our survival mode. That means our whole digestive system shuts down in that moment and things don't move. I don't need to go into that. You can picture where I'm going with that. So if we are in a stressed state constantly throughout our day, being triggered, being angry, being frustrated, being judgmental, constantly in a state of reactivity, then constantly our amygdala is constantly firing into this fear, doubt, worry, anxiety into the future, and our bodies are holding on to tension. Nothing will move. And what we practice grows stronger. So do your best to soften in the moment. No matter how awkward or uncomfortable the moment, 99% of the times you will be okay and you will survive. So you may as well drop your shoulders, breathe deep, and open your heart. Just see how it feels. And then practice the shit out of that. Take 5 more breaths here, everyone. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly start to press down and just come to that neutral position and just pause. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze then. I think it's gone for now. Unravel those legs slowly. And we're actually going to come over onto our hands and knees and just force out the spine a little bit. So no rush here, please, take your time. So just moving your spine through any motions that feel good here. Okay, so we are going to release the pec muscle. Okay, this is where your tennis ball might come in handy. So the ball's going to sit in this space here. Now, if your pecs are really, really tight, what you can do is do what I'm doing here, is just on the knees and roll the ball around that pec space on the left, okay? So it's just playing that under armpit area. You'll feel it, just moving around this space here. Now, if you are on your period or anything like that, then I would definitely recommend this space up here rather than lying down. Same with pregnancy as well, but I just want to show you from this position. So you'll be on the ground and the ball will go on under the pec, on top of the pec, and you're just going to soften down and find just some space where you can start to relax the body weight down over the ball. We're just going to be here for 1 minute on each side. Feel free to move that ball around a little bit, so just let yourself soften. So you can just slightly move the body, but it's likely you're going to find bits of tension, and then I want you to hang out there until that tension dissipates. You can slowly play with different spots. Again, be mindful of the pressure that you're putting on. You are in control of that. Breathe into it. I like to spend about 4 breaths on an area. Or especially near under the armpit can be pretty intense. So 2 more breaths before you change sides. So getting that ball, bring it over to the other side. Really be mindful to take your time. It can be super uncomfortable, but really good at the same time. That kind of pleasure and pain by borderline space. Breathe. Try to relax the best you can through these. Guys, last five breaths. Draw that ball out, coming straight to Sphinx pose. So forearms come down and setting up for our Sphinx pose. Now, always noting in this pose that the feet are apart a fair bit here so that I've got space in my sacrum. Pressing down with my forearms, if that is too much, bring 2 fists down to the ground and rest your forehead on your fist. That is totally okay. But we're going to keep the chest up and the head up for this one. So opening up the space of the throat and the heart space here. So slight press down of the pubic bone into the earth. Your affirmation for this pose: when my heart is open, I am able to be present and able to be kind. When my heart is open, I am able to be present and I am able to be kind. It is only from presence, this moment, that we can choose another way forward. We cannot do it in reactivity or autopilot. We just go back to the same patterns, behaviours, actions and responses. For us to change our way of being, to see things with gratitude rather than a grudge, we need to change our environment to see if we can see things differently. And that's up to us. So if we find ourselves in patterns of reactivity and judgment and comparison or resentment or blame or anger, take a moment and pause and notice how this feels in your body. You'll be tensed up, you'll be rigid, you might have bloating, you might feel sick. Ask yourself, is that serving me? And take a deep breath and see if you can see it through new eyes. See if you can choose to be compassionate in the moment, compassionate to the self, to let the body respond, not react, to look after your health, your nervous system and your well-being. That choice is always available for us. Alan Cohen once said in his book, The Tao Made Easy, that sometimes you cannot change your environment, but always you can change your mind. Guys, we have 10 more breaths here in Sphinx. Now, depending on how you feel, you are more than welcome to press up into seal, but if this aggravates your low back, then stay as well. Three more breaths here. Slowly relax back down to the ground. Come to a prone position and rest your head and pause. Super normal to feel tingling sensation, warmth. That's why it's super important to be still as the connective tissue and fascia start to rearrange and reorganize themselves. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to extend the left arm out to the side. Now, if you need to be on your back for this pose, please do roll over and come into a supine twist instead. If not, we are going to open the shoulder as well as take a twist and open the hips. Left arm directly out in line with left shoulder. For some of you, you may need to bend that elbow like a goalpost. That does not work for me. I need to have my hand out. Come onto the right fingertips, turn your head to the right. Slowly let that right leg come up and over. Now, if you need to put your foot onto a bolster or a cushion, please do. If it touches the ground, that's great. If it doesn't, that's great too. It doesn't matter. So just finding this space here where we're opening the right hip, twisting through the spine, and opening the left side of the pectorals and softening the upper back muscles. Now sometimes it's nice to bend the left knee and place the right foot on top of the left. I really like that variation. It allows my foot to stay there and it doesn't slide. Please take the option and variation that works for you. So remember, a supine twist on your back is also perfect. Now for some of you, feel free to stay or bring your right hand up and over and again opening into the right side of the chest. So again, just finding again another opening into the heart space, just freeing up the breathing space, the lung capacity. Just allowing yourself to fully lean into this pose. Your affirmation: when I am open, I can receive. When I am open, I can receive. Take a full breath in and a breath out. Come back to center. Slowly bring yourself back down to neutral and pause. Now, for some of you, it may be nice to pick up one foot and the other and just windshield or tick-tock those feet side to side. Bring the right hand out to the right, come onto those left fingertips, like start to curl over. Rest the head down. Feel free to bend that bottom knee if you wish and rest the left foot on top if that is in your scope and if that feels good. If not, just find the position that works for you. That left hand can come up and over. Don't force it. Doesn't like it, don't go there. Your last affirmation: I am open to seeing gratitude in my day. I am open to seeing gratitude in my day. And if you've had a shitty day, that's even more reason to find gratitude. Up to us to change how we choose to see it. We got to have today. You're here practicing yin. That's amazing. So even if it's just for that, say thank you. 5 more breaths here. Yeah, full breath in. And breath out. You guys are going to unwind yourself to Shavasana. I recommend sliding the bolster underneath your knees. I'm going to sit up just so I can hold space. But I want you guys to lie down on your backs and find your way into last pose, Pentacle Pose. Allow yourself to cover yourself, your body with a blanket, whatever you need for these next couple of minutes. Close down your eyes, surrender every single bone in your body to the earth. Soften your jaw, so your eyes roll back, your eyelids close. Relax every single muscle and cell and let yourself be held. Be here in this moment and notice what this moment entails. All you need to do is just breathe in and breathe out. I surrender, I let go, I receive. I surrender, I let go, I receive. I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Whatever was being carried with you before you started this class is now up to you if you decide to pick that back up and put that back on. Is it really worth the thoughts and the energy, the stress or the tension to hold on to what has been? Take a moment to consider that before you arrive into this moment now. You have a world of opportunities in front of you right now. Whatever has been, and whatever will be, will be. So wriggle your toes like you're experiencing them for the first time. Breathe into your body like you're experiencing it for the first time. Feel your heart beating like you're experiencing it for the first time. Take a moment to smile and thank yourself for you, for everything that you are without the need for more. Say the words to yourself. I am amazing, I am worthy, and I am accepting of what is. I am amazing, I am worthy, I am accepting of what is. When you feel ready, slowly bring your hands above your head, reach along. and gently make your way to your favourite side and up to seated, but there's no rush. Close down your eyes. Notice what gratitude feels like in the body, what happens somatically. The shoulders soften, the heart opens, the face is open and receptive. You're present, you're here. And it is only from presence that we can choose kindness. Take a breath in and a breath out. Gently bring your hands to your heart, honouring yourself and your practice. Say thank you. The thumbs to your mouth as you pay attention to the words you speak, for they become the house you live in. And the thumbs to the third eye as you honour yourself, your body, and taking this time out for your own self-care. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thanks everyone. I hope you have a beautiful night. I appreciate you taking that time out now or later to practice this yin sequence. I hope you enjoy tonight, and remember to wake up, have gratitude, and go to bed with it too. Why? Because it feels good. Guys.